Guys, we're back with Uncle Seth. It's been a while.
Hey, everybody.
I don't know if you noticed, Uncle Seth, our format's a little different. Now we're a little tighter. I'm doing 15 to 18 minute just chunks of excellence.
Great.
And now I've been told by my guys, Andrew, the producer, now Corey, that we have to be a little tighter, me and you. And you know what I told them? No.
What?
No. We're going to find out a lot about Uncle Seth. Uncle Seth is my dearest friend who believes almost nothing that I believe. He's back on with us, and today we're going to throw AI at him, artificial intelligence. Before we do, last thing, girls are good. Your daughters are solid. Allison's good.
Yeah, everybody's healthy and happy, and we're all on summer break. So,
and the girls are still singing and playing music with you?
Yeah, they just played a gig with me. I mean, they just jumped up with my band for a tune, but on the horns, horn jams.
They were horn jamming?
Yeah, it was great. I know your family likes that kind of stuff.
We love that stuff.
And if I'm playing bass, man, I know you like me playing bass.
Favorite, best.
Yeah,
I love it. No, you guys, you're back out there now, full on. You're playing gigs, right?
Yeah. It's back on.
Georgie just graduated from Juilliard, and she's gigging now. She gigged last night. I don't know. Let's see if she can become a jazz singer. Think she can do it?
Oh, 100%. She's so good, and I love that the world sees it. Thank God.
She called me up, she said, "Papa, it's different now. I got to think about my future." I was like, some people do that actually before.
Yeah, right.
But so we sat down, and guess what I did with her? I did what our first things guys in the field do with local impresarios. I took her through
mapping.
Yeah. It's like a phase 2 project development thing. And it was great. It was like 2 hours. And I watched this kid wrestle with these ideas. And so she got right up to the point where she's writing her mission statement. I think that chick could even ask for money and get it. I think it's coming. We'll see.
For sure. She's a professional.
There we are. All right. Before we start, I want to do a toast. I want to do a toast to our beautiful brotherhood, friendship, and a friendship that could be destroyed at any moment by artificial intelligence.
It's all on the rail. Gagi Marjos.
Gagi Marjos. Okay. So what are your people saying about AI? If you say AI at a coffee shop in Chicago, what happens? Are people like, right on, man? I've been using ChatGPT. It's good to go.
Yeah, I think I don't know if there's are you asking me straight out? So you're saying people in Chicago, or you're saying like new world people, or
let's do this.
Let's get right down to the crane.
Unscientific, but
yeah,
you are the new world player on this interview, right?
On this cast, yeah,
on this cast. And so new worlders are they hesitant? Because I'm gonna look at we're gonna put on a video here in a second. Are they hesitant, or are they more like, we can do a lot of stuff with this, make the world a better place?
Well, I think with the new worlders, you are seeing kind of where you would think that, I think the stereotype would be that the new worlders are embracing this because that's our God, or some kind of thing that you would try to swing. Yes. But I would say that generally, there's some trepidation there. You can see it in the news, and especially I was just with my daughter actually today, and we were listening to the Drake tune, the fake Drake.
Oh, I've heard about this. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Listen to that one. Also, I listened to Kanye singing. I forget what the song was, but it's not a Kanye tune,
Not Kanye.
Yeah, no, it's not Kanye. And so I don't know. I would say that there's some people are positive, some people are a little more hesitant, but I think we're realists And so, you know, people saying, oh, we have to fight against this or shut it down. The cat's out of the bag. The humanity progression is out of the bag. So
does that mean that what comes next, we'll speak about you for a second. What comes next, let's just say that AI gets put into something small and that you can put it into your body. Is that out of the bag? Therefore, I'm just going to do it. Or do you have some parameters?
Me personally or humanity?
Let's go with you first.
Me personally, you know, seeing as how I'm really not going to have to be faced with that because you know, I've got 20 years left probably or whatever. And, you know, they're always talking about this exponential growth of technology, which, you know, I think it's the growth of the possibility of doing this, but you have to deal with infrastructure. So basically, you know, they got a long way. They can make a thing, but when they stick it in the body, that's a problem. You know what I mean?
So you do that for you anyway. That represents a kind of threshold, the body.
Well, I think just in implementing, it's like what I've always said about these futuristic movies where it's like 2052 and there's floating cities and shit. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? These sci-fi, give me a break, man. Yeah, it's 30 years from now, you know? And so there's exponential growth in technological ability, humanity's ability, but infrastructure. Look at a railroad in 1900 versus now. It's not been exponentially improving. You know, you're stuck with infrastructure. So they're not floating cities because we got buildings here on the ground that are going to last another 200 years.
But you would argue humanity will accept something like, in general,
yes,
in 20 years, people with things inside their body.
Yeah, 100%, because it's the people that are growing up. The only people that are hesitant to adopting any kind of technology are those that lived before it. And so they're afraid. You know, when you grow up, it's like that marijuana is legal now. When you know, when you grow up now where it's something legal, you don't see it the way other people do.
So rabbit hole.
Yeah.
We don't talk about rabbits. Here goes one though. That's how I feel about gay marriage. What was it? 2012, 11? Was it Obergefell?
Yeah.
If people don't think gay marriage is connected to the legalization is connected to the transgender movement, and then this big explosion, those are connected.
Well, I would say in a search for rights, you're connected with any other marginalized group that's searching for rights.
Right. But one door opens another. And what I'm trying to say is I just remember people going, well, that'll never happen. It'll all happen because of the way people think, because of the epistemology of the modern person. Like the way they know what they know now is it's about convenience and rights and desires. So,
okay.
Really? You don't think so?
No, I would just say that's throughout history. It's been about that. You find a pamphlet from the early Greek periods where the parents are saying the kids these days don't listen to their parents. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it's the threshold thing. Like in some ways, you just said your skin or your brain, your skull is sort of like, I ain't doing that. There was some pretty clear thresholds in place in the old world where you're like, yeah, men can have sex with men, but it's not really a marriage. You know, that wasn't a thing. The sex was a thing, but the marriage, that didn't really make sense. We broke that red line.
Yeah. Well, I would say that if you're saying, did that change that definition? Yeah, it definitely changed. You say we broke that. You mean, which you think it is a break, you know, something good was broken.
So that's interesting. We'll get back to AI. Something broke, right? So we're not in disagreement about the contours of the conversation. Something was changed, shattered, overcome, whatever,
to the ground.
yeah. And the thing burnt was that bright red line where it said, I don't think you can marry two people of the same gender. Okay. You think that, right?
I think that, yeah, that a societal general understanding of something changed for sure.
Okay. What I'm saying with AI is, and what I think happened was that opening, that threshold that was overcome, that led to the ability to think about 25 other thresholds as also overcomeable, if you like. And now we're about to do the same thing with AI.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you're right. Any threshold, when any norm that has changed, encourages other norms to be changed.
Okay.
You know, once the slaves got the right to, black men, once all men had the right to vote, including black guys, then it still took 50 years for the women to crawl and, claw for their right, their enfranchisement, and so which then set off fights for anything that changed all the way up to the civil rights. And then, the failed ERA amendment was a fight for that. And then now we've got another group that feels marginalized and they're fighting.
Like the Beastie Boys when they fought for their right to party.
The right to party. Yeah, that's right.
But actually, I kind of am joking, but not really. Like,
not really.
There's always
Beasties,
a right now.
The Beasties. And they're out of New Jack. I know you like that.
That's right.
I know you.
That. Who doesn't like that? Come on. Come on, man. Keith Sweat.
I know. Kumo D.
Kumo D. Who didn't like that? I was listening to all that. Here's the top-notch rapper of that time, Chuck D. He changed it a little bit. The New Jack was a little bit different, right? But come on, man. I'm not saying things don't change. What I'm saying, though, is what fundamentally changed is not the things we do, it's the way we think. And I think AI is the outcome of that, and we can't stop it. But, bro, can we identify it as evil? Go ahead. Is AI evil?
No. It's a progression of a society. Is it evil?
So it's progress. It's progress.
It is definitely progress. It's completely progress.
Are you implying good? It's good because it's progress?
No, I'm not making a value judgment here. I mean, nobody would say that it's not progress. Would you say it's not progress? A societal progress? Was going to the moon progress? Was
man, don't talk.
Was penicillin progress? Was the COVID-19 bivalent vaccine progress?
Oh boy. Oh, you're in it now. All right. Okay. Let's do this. 1 second. I feel like you're saying progress as if the implication was better. I don't.
No, you want me to say that. You want me to say
fair.
that.
All right, then. Okay. It is the next thing.
Progression. It's progression.
Okay.
Societal progression. No, if you think, and I think a lot of these old worlders think this way, that if there was a regression to old world values, tradition, that's what's going to be the savior for humanity.
Okay.
I mean, let's fix it.
Okay. I agree with you. That is a mistake that people make often in the camps that I run around in, that something going back is like something getting better. But hold on. There has to be a telos, an end, a purpose for us to be able to make a judgment about what these things are. So do you think there is an ultimate way of being that will allow us, if we knew it, to judge AI as good or bad, to judge gay marriage as good? Is there something against which you're judging? You, progressive man.
Well, am I judging? I'm judging it.
Like, let's use space for a second. That's a good one, actually, because it's weird. We went to, let's say we went to the moon. Some people don't think so, but we went to the moon. There we go. Good. Or,
Does,
how do you judge this?
does anybody listening to this podcast, this particular podcast, think so?
Think that it was good?
What person? No, that it happened, that we went. I'm interested in that. People out there, I'm interested. If
you'd be surprised, among, actually.
I'm sure. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We could go back to that. That's actually interesting, Uncle Seth. But you judge it, and I think you're going to have to answer something like, you can't know. It's just the next thing that happens. Like,
no, listen, that's what I'm saying. When I say progress, I'm thinking that this is just the next thing that has happened in an increasingly, I want to say evolutionary group, but
knew it.
I know, I knew, but I didn't want to say it. But I'll throw it out there for you. But it has to be in the same way that we have come up from thousands of years ago in Egypt as just a people. Just you can look at this very, very objectively and say there has been a progression, at least in capabilities of living life. Now, you may not say that it's been a progression in the ways of understanding life, but living life.
Okay. Living here meaning like the practical
surviving,
ins and outs of daily life.
Correct.
Okay, fine. I'm cool with that.
So what do you think this the adoption of AI, which you keep trying to link up with gay marriage for some inexplicable reason?
I'm gonna try to, can I try to explain it?
Yeah.
AI was not conceived by human brains for like whatever, just as long as you evolutionary types are going to say millions of years, and we'll go with, I don't know, 8,000 years. It doesn't matter. The human mind, the human experience did not allow for a culture to create something like AI.
Shift that. Oh, sure, for sure.
Okay. Now, why? What I'm trying to say to you is it took a certain kind of thinking, a Cartesian model, meaning it took me thinking about my mind as my own for us to get where we are. In other words, it took a type of hubris and pride for me to take the time to think more about my own thoughts so that I can create stuff that I call my own. For most of societies, for most what we call old world, the idea wasn't to create something that I could call my own and therefore become the man. Most people were, if you want to say caught, they were captured by the notion of obedience. And obedience to church, and obedience to their imam, and obedience to the creator, and obedience to their father, and obedience. And as the father asked, there you did. Now, was that good or bad? I'm not there yet, but a certain kind of mind and episte took over. And that episte said, if it's good for me and I can conceive it and build it and create it, it is good. If it helps my life, go for it.
Okay.
Done. So gay marriage is a type of marriage that says, despite the hurdles, here's a hurdle. 2 penises can't make a baby. So that's a hurdle.
That's a hurdle.
And so despite the hurdle, which seems to be impossible to overcome.
Right. No, because for you, marriage means making a baby.
No,
ultimately,
wait.
That means that's what that means.
No. I disagree. And that was an unfair characterization of my position.
That's what I'm here for, folks.
What it mean? I don't care if there's a baby that comes out of it. What it means is a union.
The possibility of a baby, because I've asked you about.
It means a union
I
like
got
that which receives and that which gives. In other words, seed and soil. It's the
Yeah. Okay.
it's
All
the
right.
proper union. Now,
Okay.
whether the tree is born or not is not relevant.
Okay.
Relevant is they were made to sort of go together. And
Okay.
that going together we called marriage for most of human history. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And then that
I know,
thing,
but you are just, you're like all up in arms since last 8,000 years. Now we are coming up with, these changes to, now marriage, whatever. It used to be
right? And the insane
okay. Yeah,
clown
right, right.
posse and those guys.
And now it's a cloud posse. But the way I see it, you conveniently leave out the fact that um, our Homo sapiens, again, I've tried to bring this up. You always try to dismiss this, but you've never succeeded in my mind. You, most people say it's 100,000 years that we've been roaming. Okay. Homo sapiens. And then, after 98,000 years of suffering and pestilence and early death and horrible death and brutality and sickness, and God says, "Oh,
I think you're describing Chicago right now, but go ahead." Keep going.
God says, "Oh, let me send my son to show them that they're not being good." First, he wiped out. First, I forgot about the flood. Ken Ham. I know you're a big Ken Ham guy.
That's right.
I know. Answersingenesis.com, folks. But
do you see my face? Do you see my face?
And then all of a sudden, 2,000 years ago, he deposits after 98,000 years and says, "Okay, sorry about that. I think I should step in right now into the backwater here and let you people know." Instead of China, where they're having systems of writing, you want to send your message. No, let's go to
Palestine, baby.
Right, Palestine, hotspot. And so, at any rate, so in the last 2,000 years, I think you're relying on. So at least we had 8,000 years of our progression toward where we are now.
But wait, you didn't finish. Wait, there was a progression toward the revelation of the truth, which is something like the eternal creator before you so that you might be able to recognize your own divinity. Like, welcome to how we live, brought to you by a dying God so that you can live, Christ. Voila. So if the story's
after
true,
98,000 years,
well, the 98,000, you're doing like
math.
You're doing like, yeah,
it's that
like
liberal. It's
isotope.
that liberal agenda called math.
Bravo, that's a good one. Hold on, back up. There was a progression. The progression was towards something like the revelation, and the revelation allowed all of humanity, not just people in Palestine, to say something like, "Whoa, this is what we're meant for." And you don't get to do that in your world because you guys don't have a meant for.
Okay.
You have this is my point is.
Yeah. You think life is so much poorer because you think my side doesn't have a meant for, and you think the only purpose to life is the meant for.
The big meant for, you have a meta meant for. In other words, I know you love and take care of your family.
Yeah, no, but in terms of big meant for, if there is one, it's how would I know? Yeah, it's made up.
Okay.
There may be one, but it's nothing that you figured out by reading some passages.
But
you cracked the code, dude. Congratulations.
No, I didn't crack it. What are you talking about? It's been revealed, and that revelation allows for us to have a meant for, like a purpose for our life. But hold on. We just disagree on that. But you, because you're human, are going to substitute, let's say, a different telos, a different purpose into your life in order to make sense of it. But where we don't do that, we see anxiety, fear. We see a ton of what we see in the United States, which is supposed illnesses of the mind, which are just simply illnesses of the spirit. What I'm trying to say is the thing that we lack in the new world is what we see being manifest in our diseases, which is a healthy body of sorts, but a really, really dystopian mind, because we don't have something we're living for. So I know you do, because you substitute, but I think that we haven't had anything to live for has created the ability for us to create AI. We're allowing ourselves down a road that creates a God that will control us.
Can I ask you this?
We need to be controlled.
Okay, but can I ask you this? And you
need to have purpose.
Okay, but do you believe that the discovery and the synthesizing of penicillin was this what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's all part and parcel. Mm-hmm.
It's all part of the same deal. Mm-hmm. So for you really are one of these sects. You're like a anti-tech sect, because you have to believe that any progress in that way was a computer part of this, obviously, because that's what made AI possible. Well, was radio part of this? Yes, because that's made computers possible.
All technological implements, going back to the rock that slew
the wheel.
That slew Abel, and then Cain building cities. All the implements, they're all the same thing. This is AI is just another example of it. All of them win in service to, right, the proper telos, the proper purpose, the proper creation, the proper creator. They're all good. They're all good. So penicillin tends to be good because it tends to heal illnesses. But as you know, too much penicillin also creates a huge problem, right? Because it actually destroys your
okay. So you're saying the AI is good, but can be bad.
Well, the AI could turn out to be in service to that which is good. It could be. The problem is mind. Your mind won't allow that. Yours. I'm speaking to you. I get to pick on you. A bunch of
Are you saying me or Indian people's minds? Which one is it? Old Indians?
It's definitely Indian people, but only the secular ones. The Hindus they're trying. A bunch of if you're listening to this, I won't say he made the move though. He did the Indian waggle. That was very impressive. He gets to do that. If there's somebody canceling out there,
yeah, that's right. You can't cancel me.
Can't cancel him.
Cannot.
But hold on. A bunch of yous working in developing, being a part of, using AI. A bunch of yous, it ends badly. A bunch of elder friends using it, it ends. First of all, it ends. We're probably not going to. These elders and saints aren't going to use it. They're not going to use it.
Right. And so it would end. But are you saying that used in the service of your agenda?
Hold on.
What's wrong with that?
Sorry, I'll let you finish. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I don't know. Do you know what I'm trying to say here?
I think so, but go ahead.
You said AI in the hands of people like me, in the New Worlders, which I assume you're saying.
Yeah, I'm lumping you together.
AI in the hands of the people of the New World is destructive, because we have created this as only in the service of the
self.
Mm-hmm. And whereas if you guys wouldn't use this type of thing, but if you did, you would be doing it in the service of, it's not even the community, in service of God. And so you would be responsible with it.
it's close to that. It's closer to the reason 8,000 years of human history don't, only the last 200 years produce this kind of incredible techne. The reason it took so long is because most of those people were using a type of operating manual that didn't allow for this type of thinking.
In other words, I will agree with that. Yeah, I will agree with that.
Because you do this all the time. You're like, you backwards medieval people, you gotta heal yourselves with slugs and put bugs in your skin.
The bleedings. Let's not forget we got to get rid of the humors. You have a lot of bad humor.
Every single time. By the way, we're going to do this Art of the Tamada. The very notion in Florida, Key Largo, you should go. Actually, you really should go. Maybe we should get you down there at the table. Guys, we're doing this November 16, 17, 18. Leave on the 19th. 2 and 3 day packages.
I'm there.
Doing a commercial. You got to go. We got Pajot's going to go. Nick Kotar's going to go. We've got a really nice band. Dirt Poor Robbins is going. But anyway, the hospital, and by the way, check out www.first-things.org. Just go, and it's all there, and then write to me, and we'll get you a spot. But Seth, here's what I'm trying to say, is that those minds, the minds of the medieval age or whatever, they could conceive of a lot of things. They couldn't conceive of what your people conceived of.
No, listen.
That technique couldn't look like this.
Yeah, no. I of course. I'm
trying to say
that. I think that's kind of self-evident.
That doesn't mean they're backwards. It doesn't mean that they're like idiots. Well, the hospital
that's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying that they're idiots. I'm just saying that there is if I would like to redo that podcast we did about space and life outside of here, because I don't think we did that good service. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. But I'm just saying that if you look at any kind of, if you can conceive of a intergalactic spacefaring creature, okay? Mm-hmm. That was the end result of some push, some society's progression to that point, whether it's good or bad. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is, it's not inconceivable to think that this happens whether or not you are born of some god or a society that created the idea of God and then never made it to a certain point because of that, or a society that had no God fables in their existence and crapped out after 1,000 years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do. But your assumption is materialistic in this sense. You're not allowing for the possibility of there actually being a creator that actually is the truth. In other words, you're not allowing for a creator that you should obey and become like. If you just listen to the words you just chose, fables, and what you're trying to say is we don't have divinity within us.
Our best guess and our best human level consciousness evidence is that it is a fable.
Yeah.
Now you can say based on my scientific evidence, whatever.
Fact.
And actually based on I would wager that I can bring up as many believers as you can show me. I can bring up as many people who were believers who are not believers anymore, who are steeped in your evidence and still don't believe it.
I know.
That would be interesting. This would be more interesting.
Well, but I know, but this is the battle we're in right now, because your people have won the battle in what we call the West. And the West, no matter what you try to argue, this is what I like. This is when white liberal people, they crack me up. no matter what you try to argue, if I put all the brown people in the room together, they ain't the ones that are creating this garbage. Okay, that's not happening. No offense. The West Africans aren't on the cutting edge of this. You don't see like research facilities in Freetown. Okay, that's not what's happening.
No, I know that. I understand that. I understand that.
So
but
your people,
you know, what the funny thing is that
are doing this.
No,
AI is yours.
No, well, you know what? It is true. It is true. Except that your people are the ones that
my people are the brown people, by the way.
I don't know.
I want to claim that.
No. If you want to shackle me with the white liberals who are making, gobs of money, by
absolutely
then you're getting shackled with the Christicans. And so don't try to, you know what I mean? Like, you can't have it both ways, man.
Christicans, the
Christicans want it both ways. And either both their reasons of desire are weak, I feel. You know,
you don't want to here being Christian Americans. What a great phrase.
Yeah, I
think we should make money off of that. Can we make a t-shirt? The Christican shirt. All right, go back to AI though. So
okay.
However we got here, okay, it takes a certain kind of, I think we both can agree, these are quote scientific minds at work. These aren't like, these aren't woodworkers. These aren't like classic furniture makers who are in there about to build AI, right? Can we agree on that?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why you're getting caught up. It's like as if we're the reason this is happening or something. I think there's more pressing concerns for you.
All right, let's hear. They're going to be practical. I know they're going to be.
Yeah, of course they're going to be practical.
Let's hear.
AI is going to create its own religion. It's going to be its own reality, which is an alternate reality, which is what a lot of my people would say you guys are living in, an alternate reality where there's a dictator that dictates how you should live your life, and this is what it's going to be.
Right. And so spaghetti monster in the sky is
spaghetti monster reality. And so I'd be interested in what is going to be happening like long term. If this is really going to be ultimately the test of God, because he gave us free will and we ended up with this AI and now it's creating its own religion, and it's Black Mirror. People are just into the matrix and they're at home and whatever. And so which model is going to win out at that point? Do
you think whoever wins out that demonstrates some sort of
truth?
Yeah.
If God wins,
like capitalism won out. So like
capitalism. Yeah, right. If God wins out versus AI, then it's a good chance that I'm talking about a long time, but it's a good chance that maybe there was something to this JC thing,
Okay, well,
where is that it's in somebody so hard that after 200 years of AI programming and detachment of society, there's still that nagging thing in the human soul. And so then I'd be like,
dude, that's bad. Well said. All right. So then do you think in 200 years, whatever, human beings will have a nag? They'll be nagged by this soul
thing? No, because listen,
Lord, this is
listen, terrible. John, I've sent you these, the math doesn't lie, John. You see the graphs of the nagging deteriorating over 80, people were religious. Then in the 90s, it's going down, it's going down, it's going down. So even in our pathetic lifetimes, you see inexorable flattening of that nagging feeling. So
Okay, and is that
either
liberation
Jesus,
to you? Is that liberation, or is that bad?
Is it liberation? I don't know. I think it's progress. I think it's progress.
So how do you see human beings after 200 years, after they lose the nag, they lose that?
Yeah.
Some people would call that their conscience. So, yikes.
It's a real nag, you know.
You know, I really shouldn't have hit that old lady when she was crossing the street. I hope I can get rid of that feeling.
That nagging feeling, if I should.
I literally drove by a man today in the rain, and I went to pull over. The car behind me beeped, so I got all nervous. I went around, and then I kind of took a right, and I knew where he was, and I just kept driving. And I had this horrible feeling.
It's tough. I know it's tough.
And I think you're saying, John, in 200 years, you won't have that feeling anymore.
That's right. That's right. Because ultimately, in 200 years,
oh my God,
there is going to probably, we're not going to make it another 200 years.
We meaning the human race.
The human race, right. Because I just don't think that we are intellectually as advanced. And here's where I'll use the word spiritually, but not in the way you're thinking. I don't, obviously.
Not like the crazies do.
Not like the crazies. You guys are wilding for Jesus. That's
oh my God. I apologize for Seth, but keep going, Uncle Seth. This is.
I listen to the view.
I want to preface what he's about to say with "This is dumb." I just know it's going to be.
With to the listening audience, I only bring up Jesus because John, I think, doesn't like saying Jesus, so I get it.
I know.
So I like it.
I know what this line of questioning is. Just okay. You're saying it's gonna will a different conscience or a
no? I'm saying that I'm saying that in my limited, obviously, understanding is that if the experiment here on Earth is truly devoid of God, it's just a symptom of these chemicals came together, we became. Then it must have happened other places, and if it happened other places, it's given that the universe is so old, there must have been civilizations that arose and eclipsed us by 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000,000 years. And if that also is true, then it also means that there have been countless civilizations around our level of progress, and that some made it to let's just say we've been here 100,000 years. Some made it to 500,000 years and they achieved something. Some crapped out at 50,000 years because they warred together. You're
saying this is a type of arc that all of something like life goes through.
Correct. Just constrained by the intellectual capabilities of the machine.
Called your brain or your body.
Called your brain and body.
So one thing I want to say to everybody listening, that, and I'm going to say this and sound like a crazy person, so you get to pin this on me. The reason that Uncle Seth can think like this, there's only one reason. I want everyone to know, especially people who are going like, well, I kind of like what John's coming from, or who are Orthodox or old world Christian. There's only one way Seth can say what he's saying, and that's because his assumption, his principle is that evolution is true. And so here's what I want to say emphatically. Evolution is the dumbest shit that ever happened to the human body, ever. It needs to be revisited daily by all of us. It is the dumbest, most anti-human concept ever given through anyone's
Dude,
mouth from their
my
brain.
God.
And Darwin is.
Listen, we are one YouTube clip away. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and look into the right-hand corner column, because this is now going to be linked to some conspiracy crap, flat earthers and stuff.
I don't care.
Oh my God.
Listen, I want to say one thing to you. There's only one way you can make the conclusions you're making, and that is that you've built it upon the idea that evolution is true. And so it could be that for reasons that you can't explain whatsoever, there was nothing and then there was something. I don't.
Yeah.
Ba-boom.
Yeah. Like there was a God.
Correct.
Yeah, I know.
Correct.
Give me a break. It's so
your material world does not allow for the thing you need to create your material world, which is something non-material to act. See, you can't say the thing that I can say because your world is dependent upon material reality.
Listen, even if this was true, were true, totally the closest any sane person could get is to be a deist. But the idea that there's some active participation in your pathetic existence is so vain. It's like the thing that you're trying to fight against it's circular. Give me a break, man. And I love you.
It's in the face.
But your existence is pathetic.
The smiling face of the baby who looked up from the crib.
Oh my God.
Seth hates when people say the evidence for God is in the smiling baby face of the love child. Listen, we know we disagree on this. We can yell at each other, but I'm just telling you guys, do not take this bait. Do not be afraid because they're going to call you a Neanderthal. Because you don't believe in it. Don't be afraid of these guys. Don't be afraid of Seth. Don't be afraid of him. He is not a scary person, but evolution allows you to conclude this way. So let's do this. Let's just end with this. AI recently was called upon by I'm really sad that I have to say this for my friends who are Lutheran, by a Lutheran pastor in Germany. They called upon AI, put up the screens. They called upon AI to help them do a Christian service at a church. So he put in like, do Christian service.
Yeah, right.
In chat GPT or whatever. And then they all came, sat down, and then the AI just led them in worship on a TV screen.
Yeah, I wanted to talk more about these types of things because I've got a few of these bad boys. So what do you think of that?
I want to hear what you think about that first before I dirty the water. Go ahead. You just like whatever, doesn't matter.
I think it's what's going to happen is that you're going to actually see maybe hope for because you guys as messengers suck.
Meaning
Christians,
we don't deliver a good message.
Christians as messengers of the word suck. You guys, the Christicans for sure are the worst ever at spreading, that's why you see the precipitous decline in believers, is because your spreading of the message sucks. And God's spreading of the message sucks because he hasn't reached out to me. I know I'm not open. Oh, I got to work on this. Well, so you're 0 for 2 there.
Okay.
And so your hope is that maybe there's some kind of AI thing that can bring people back to the fold.
So you think this pastor was trying to like get ahead of the curve in order to?
Yeah, I'm saying that not only just to be to appear hip to bring them back, meaning that an AI can actually come up with a way that you can deliver your message that resonates in a way that you as a human being are not able to do because you imbue that message with a lot of extra bullshit that turns people away from, and your track record is not good. You're bleeding believers.
You mean
That's the Christicans, and then the Orthodox apparently don't care about spreading the word to anybody. And right, isn't that true? You guys, that's not
keep it secret because of pearls or swine.
That's
stuff
right,
like that.
exactly. So
maybe it's interesting. You sound like you're just mad about sin. Like when people are bad at stuff, like being kind or generous or thoughtful or articulate, we call that sin or missing the mark. Don't you think that'll always happen?
It's probably true, but that goes back to the first thing I was saying is that we are just not in a place as a species to progress.
Okay,
beyond a certain
and because AI is built on it's like a hive mind of, I don't know, eternal thoughts. Maybe it holds out a better chance of doing that.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's put it this way. Would you? I think we should end like this, with your thoughts on: do you think the best hope for delivery of the message and the continuation of it, of God in this planetary society, is your people delivering the message or some other new modality like AI?
There is no hope for this world.
Okay, good. Now we could finally agree on something.
There is no good ending.
Okay.
The ending is human beings on a cross dying to themselves, and those selves are the proud, ugly, nasty people that need to die in order to be born again or raised from the dead. So Christ will be the end, and the end will be good. The question is not whether this world's going to get better. It's, will you get better? And I don't like that phrase. Right. Will you become awake before this body you're in fades into the earth? Will you become awake?
Aren't you interested in people becoming awake?
Yes. So if
don't you believe they do it by learning about Jesus?
Mostly they learn it by suffering. And the suffering will either be in those moments before your death, while you're dying, while your children dies, while the plants die around you. That is the nature of creation. It like all of creation, the seed goes in the ground. If a beautiful seed comes off a corn stalk, first it goes in the ground and it's buried before it can grow. That's the nature of our existence. And so that doesn't mean I'm trying to hurt myself. I'm not trying to suffer. But what happens is when I come to terms with that, I can actually begin to awake. AI tries to get rid of all the suffering. The whole point of these humans, the modern world humans, is to demand a world where there's no suffering, there's perfect equality, there's utopia. That world will end badly, period. Because it's false. It's a lie.
So the world is ending badly.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
But for you, that's not really true. The world does not end badly because there's no judgment. There's nobody going after the game's all over like, you were running that route wrong. That's why there was an interception. There's nobody ever going, yeah, that didn't go well. There's just death. There's never going to be for you a time when you say, yeah, I'm sorry, that wasn't good. That was wrong. You don't have that. You don't have to do that.
And yet I do it.
Shit about that.
And yet most of the people I know do.
Okay, because their conscience remains alive.
I know, because I knew you were going to try to take credit for it.
Well, that's not fair. Like, if God is what you say he is, he's like actually powerful, because that's why you don't like him, because you're like, so this God can do whatever he wants. He can reside within you, called your conscience. Like, by the way, that's not really a stretch. By the way, you teach history. That's like the Hindus are going, I wonder if God could be the part of the conscience thing. I mean, it's called Atman, dude. Everybody's thought this already, except for your people. They're like, oh, really? God's got a conscience? Dude, come on. This is what everyone does. They know it's something else. It's transcendent. Even you, but you call it. What do you call it when your conscience peaks? You're like, I probably shouldn't have spoke that way to my wife. What do you say? Like, fuck it.
That's mini Seth.
Where do you
That's
think
what I call him, mini Seth.
Where does it come from? Like that thought.
Well, I mean, listen, we have a conscience. We have a conscience.
Neanderthals didn't have it. They were like,
you think the fact that I have it is God. And
everyone knows this already, except for you. Why don't you know
that it is God? We know that it is God.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Give me a break, man.
The conscience. All right, let's
listen. No, let's just get back to.
So just one quick point.
Okay.
Say it another way. When your conscience speaks, it is good. Take God out of it. You know that when you see somebody come to you with a little sadness in their eyes and their conscience is saying something like, I should not have cheated on my test, Mr. Rahman. You see good. You know you see it.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. I'll take that. I think a conscience is good. Yes.
Yeah, that's my point. And that's always been associated with God, the creator. But modern people, for some reason, think it was an evolutionary tweak. Give me a break. It's so ridiculous.
No. You guys.
So ridiculous. It's so
good. Good at God. You really cornered the market on that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think it wasn't just me. There was a whole bunch of people. Finish with this thing on an AI. I think that pastor, I don't know why he would choose to do that. I've been trying to make sense of it for weeks. Why would he do that? And I got the answer from
because what? That he's trying to improve the message delivery.
Yeah, he thinks the message will flow through this Moloch.
I mean, listen. Why do you even have this podcast? No, I didn't mean that seriously.
By the way, did you see
I assume that most, if not everything you do in life is to increase your connection with God. And I think one of the ways you do that is by connecting other people with God. Is that fair?
I hope I'm not an impediment to that. Yes. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I think that most Christians, they believe that is one of their ways that they can improve their relationship with God is by bringing others into the fold.
Communion.
Communion. So he's doing this because he thinks that this might be a tool to bring others into the fold and thereby increase his or improve his relationship with God.
Okay. That, by the way, it's really, I'm not saying this, I love you. I'm not saying this as a jerk. That's actually, I needed that answer. I think you might be right. It is like a television. Billy Graham got on there and spoke to more people about how God is good, and then the television helped to evangelize or something like that, right?
Yeah. And I think what's going to happen is,
no,
mark it here. I think this is the last best hope for what you guys are peddling while you're alive. I mean, you said that, well, when we all die, then he's already died for everybody's sin, and it's all Jake after we die. So, but while we're here, people are still, they want to tell people, spread the good news. You guys are dying to spread the good news. And you think that if you don't spread the good news, you find disfavor in his eyes or something.
Okay.
Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be out there Bible banging as much.
Two quick points. My tradition doesn't Bible bang.
I know. I told you. I'm talking about.
I wanted to point that out. And spread here is more like become the good news. In other words, spread,
Either
yeah,
way.
but inherit and imbibe and then make carne, make meat out of the good news so that my flesh is actually walking around as good and not just as some
Right.
some sort of like wah, wah, wah,
Flesh
like I'm just
vessel.
yelling
Yeah.
at people all the time.
Yeah.
So
But why does it improve for you if I come to Jesus?
it doesn't
Why
it
is that
doesn't
good for you,
it well
or something good that you have done?
okay, awesome. I might get in trouble for this. It's it's no skin off my back. I don't care. It that I don't
I
know
like that
why
answer.
you becoming
We
hold on.
atheists like that answer.
Right, because but I want to can I just say one thing? Because I love you, I am drawn to share the things I love. So it's not that I am like trying to capture you so that you are saved. That's not what happens. Any more than when your daughters go to a movie and they come home and they say, Papa, I want you to hear about this movie that was awesome. What they're trying to do is share and commune with you in a way that they share the beautiful things with you that they think are beautiful. And what I can't stand more than anything is a secular world where the things that are beautiful to say me, like they're not allowed in certain places, like schools. That seems like insane to me.
Yeah,
It
except
seems
that
insane.
you don't have the right to, just because it's something you love, to share it. You don't have the right to share with everybody, and especially in the ways that your ilk does. You don't
Well,
have that right.
hold on. This is fascinating. First of all, my people, at least me, would say there's no such thing as a right. There's only a responsibility. And the responsibility is to love my neighbor. And if I see that my neighbor is in no ways open to hearing about the beautiful things that, for instance, I don't just roll up on my neighbor and say, I saw this movie last night. It's called The Island, and I want you to know about it. And yeah, that's right. I first of all, it is my
That's what you
responsibility
guys
to
do,
love.
though. This
No,
is what I'm trying to say.
I agree with you. By the way, I think if you use the word right, I also in a public place called your school, I don't get to hear about the beautiful thing called Carl Sagan's cosmos. How come he gets to preach? How come his good, his beauty is like standard operating procedure in science class? Shut the up. That's the way I think about it. However, I'll listen to his beauty. Why can't I share mine with him? But I can't. And you know I
No,
can't.
because you have a choice of hearing his beauty. You guys want to force your beauty onto everybody.
Do you
You know,
have you been to a university, say in the last 20 years? Dude, you can't roll into a university and talk about the things you're talking about. Like this, we're canceled like 12 times. I'm canceled. Come on, man. We know this. This isn't rocket science. What I'm trying to say is I don't want to have this fight because it's true. Culture dictates the people who control culture dictate what gets to be said. I'm
yeah,
with you.
yeah.
I'm with you. But sharing beauty with friends is a normal operating procedure. And that's called that you think of that as evangelizing. I just think of that as being a friend. But the cool part is you let me do it. You know how I know? Because we're doing a podcast right now.
Yeah, I know. But let's be honest. Just look around the world and see how that beauty is being shared by people from your flock, and tell me that it's being done in the right way. On the whole, there's no way
All right.
that you can believe that.
I just want to say this. You make a comment, we'll finish. Seth. Okay, the beauty sharing we were just talking about, right?
Yeah. Mm.
I think AI is for most people, including the pastor you just described, and for your people, let's just call them New World people. AI is the sharing. It is the evangelism. It's the thing that I don't know, Klaus and the boys and all of these programmers have come together to say we can do and we should share. And now there's a greed factor because everybody wants to sell this stuff. I get that. But I do think for the mind that is called Cartesian, for the math mind and the logical mind, the mind of the modern man, including me, that mind revels in this kind of techne. And I think it's being shared. And most people are gobbling it up. And I think it's called the AI, man. It's your people's.
Yeah, I won't disagree. I won't disagree with that. I just don't assign a judgment on it as you do.
Well, that's convenient.
Well, I mean, no, I don't.
I get it.
I mean, I judge it, but I just think it's this is what happens anytime there is a deviation from tradition with some people.
Okay, you can say me. You can say me, but
yeah, with you.
No.
Is that you perceive it as a threat because your whole, especially the Orthodox, is based on tradition.
Yeah.
And so any kind of threat to tradition is a threat to you. And that's why you don't believe in at least in my estimation, thoroughly evidenced theories in the natural world. You don't believe in these natural world proofs.
Yeah. Maybe. Just so you know, I don't think my mind comes to the conclusion that evolution's wrong, right? Because of orthodoxy. What happens is evolution can't be right the way my mind has begun to work. I don't know if you can understand
that's
that.
For sure. I can understand that.
My mind has begun to work a certain way after 28 years.
Of course.
And
it's been 28 years steeped in a belief system that makes it impossible, which is crazy because you believe in my belief system when you're getting chemo, but you don't believe in my belief system when it's something that's somehow counter narrative for you.
Yeah. Well,
but it's the same system.
You
know that I can dig up your great grandfather and prove that it was your great grandfather. You know I can do that. But if you say I dig up somebody, a million from 200,000 years ago, you say no, that's not right. Evolution, it's crazy. So, but it's the same system.
Yeah. Let's do that next time because that's not what's happening. It's not. It's the understanding, the realization that the way I think is more important than the outcomes or than the tangible, practical realities around me.
Yeah, see, and that's to me scary.
No,
you're thinking, the way you've become and molded yourself into thinking is more important to you than the reality of the natural world. How did
you come to think the way you think?
By living in the natural world.
You mean existing, like the leather chair that you're sitting in? What are you talking about? No, the world that you've come to know as yours has been shaped by the way you've been conditioned to think. In other words, when you see a chair, how about this? When you see a tree, you've been conditioned to think of that tree as parts and as a type of material object.
So have you. So, and exactly. So
I know, but what's happened is if you like the red pill analogy, is my faith has red pilled me to realize that the tree that I'm seeing is first and foremost spirit, the Holy Spirit, because it has life. Now, you want to tell me later on that it's got roots and the roots drink water this way? I'll go for that. But the priority, the highest level of knowing is to know that tree to have life because it is filled with the Holy Spirit. That's the highest order of knowing. Everything else flows down.
Right. Which your thought process has now convinced you that regardless of what happens to the tree, it's more important that you know it in that way.
Right. Well, what'll happen is because I know it as spirit, then when I see it dying and being chopped down,
oh, come on, man.
No, that's what happens. That's what happens.
I know. I know. Yeah. But do you think that happens as a generality for people who are adherents to your worldview, that just the knowledge of your the way you think, the belief in your belief system is more important than the reality in the natural world?
The reality in the natural world does not have meaning outside of the way you think about it. There is no independent meaning of a rock. The meaning is assigned by those who make meaning, and that's called human beings. The rock is not an independent thing that has meaning unto itself. The tree has no meaning unto itself. It's only
but it has
communion.
But in where we are and who we are, it has practical meaning. If I pick up this rock and smash you over the head with it and bash your face in, but I say that to me, this rock is a messenger of God's love that I want to impart into you. I may believe that after I've smashed your head in, but the reality is everybody that's in the room, everybody in the room, except people that also thought the rock was a message of God's love, everybody else are going to say, Seth just bashed the shit out of John's head.
No, but what's the rock?
What do you mean?
What's the rock?
It's not a messenger of God's love.
Could be. Depends how you see it.
Not you saw it. It's the last thing you saw.
What's the rock? You can't answer that without communing and understanding the rock as subject. In other words, you have to make a judgment about the rock. Is it a weapon?
In that case, it was a weapon.
But you made it a weapon because of the way you think about it. And you are the active agent. That rock was not a weapon a moment ago. It was a paperweight.
Okay, but
it has no explicit independent meaning unless it communes with another thing. In other words, the paper that it sits on top of is necessary for us to understand what the rock is. It must be known by something else. So what I'm saying is your mind operates on all these things around you and gives them all meaning. And your mind is fundamentally a modern New World scientific mind. And so you see scientific things in all of this material reality. And what I'm trying to do is stop seeing the world that way. That's what my faith teaches me.
Okay. Well,
that's what I'm trying to say.
That's a fool's errand for sure. That's true. You know that's true.
Why? Why is that a fool's errand? I don't understand.
Because you are if you can't do it, and if your priests on Mount Athos can't do it,
can't see it that way.
Yes, because it's a struggle, right? Isn't faith a struggle?
Of course, it's a struggle because I'm living with a bunch of guys like you. But
I know. That's what I'm saying. You're living in a world that has material value, truth.
Yeah.
And so if you're not going to escape that.
No, no, but what's going to happen is the way, not just the way the world is conceived in my mind, but there may be a reality to these things. In other words, this is my bet. my bet is that what Christ teaches is the DNA of how existence works. In other words, Christ is revealing how reality works. He's not revealing.
When is this lesson going to be understood by the class?
Well, that's our next podcast.
When will they finally be a good teacher? And this, so we can understand this teaching.
As a teacher, I'll ask you one last question. When will all the students get to class on time?
Never.
Thank you
and
very
the
much.
Teacher knows that. And the teacher should know that because he's the one that made the students.
That's why there's a cross and the teacher was on it so that everybody can get to class on time. Oh, Lord. That's the end of this podcast.
You hear this one about this kid's a terrible student and his parents try public school, doesn't work, try private school, parochial, finally takes him to Catholic school. He comes back and is a different child. And the parents say, what happened? He said, well, listen, when I saw that guy on the cross, I knew they meant business.
That's just the worst.
That's stupid. I know. Thanks for having me back. And everybody, thanks for listening.
Dude, you're the best. You're coming back. That's the end. Guys, peace out. There really is a Florida event. It's probably already been out by the time you see this. Go to www.first-things.org. Look for the Art of the Tamada. Join us. Donate by going and hanging out in the sun and doing boating. What's so bad about that? And snorkeling and feasting and learning about Tamada and Georgian culture and bringing our restaurant to Florida to eat delicious food. You haven't gone yet, have you, to the restaurant?
No, I'm coming. I'm definitely coming this summer.
We want you
for
to.
a long weekend.
A little hot in there right now.
That's fine. I'm from Chicago, man.
You can handle it.
I can handle it.
All right, we'll catch up. Guys, Seth, this is Uncle Seth. My kids know him that way. He's been a dear friend and a pain in the ass for many years. It's been a solid amount of time now. Well, how many years? Almost 20?
15, 20. Yeah.
All right, man. Love you. I'll check you later. That is WAWTAR.
Thanks, everybody.
That is Conversations with Uncle Seth. See you soon. Check out the website. Peace out.